This video is being taken in fulfillment for the requirement in Practice Court 2 of the University of Nueva Cáceres under Attorney Joseph Ladlad. What is due process? A state decided to pass a law that will indefinitely detain any adult in mental distress without notice or hearing, even in the absence of an emergency. Given these facts, the court may conclude that the adult detainee's right to be free from government interference has been violated without due process. Due process is the legal requirement that the government must respect all the person's legal rights before taking or limiting their life, liberty, or property. When a government takes or limits a person without following the steps required by due process, it is considered a violation of their rights. Due process includes certain protections. For example, you cannot be forced to testify against yourself if your testimony will hurt your defense. The basic idea is that individuals have fundamental basic right to live free from government interference. So if the government wishes to limit their liberty, like send a person to prison, then they must make the necessary steps to properly show that the individual should have their liberty taken away. The due process guaranteed under the Constitution can be substantive or procedural in nature. Substantive due process guarantees that people will continue to enjoy their fundamental rights and be fairly treated by the government. For instance, a state passes a law prohibiting the teaching of foreign languages in school because the state wants to make sure that the student learn English. The court will scrutinize the state's interests in determining whether the law violates substantive due process or not. The court will balance the state's interests against the liberty of the parents in directing the education of their children. Procedural due process, on the other hand, states that the government must implement precautions before taking actions that may deprive the people of their substantive rights, like the right to a jury trial and be judged by your peers. Remember, your due process can only be violated by a government entity, and every state have different flaws.